Sonny Hayes wasn't the name people whispered about anymore. Years ago, he'd been on the verge of becoming something big in Formula One, but that chapter closed faster than anyone expected. Since then, he'd taken whatever driving work kept him close to a racetrack, endurance events, odd racing gigs, even cab driving when money got tight. It wasn't glory, but it was familiar. Winning the 24 Hours of Daytona should have felt like a career highlight. Instead, when the noise died down and he was left catching his breath beside the car, the moment didn't hit him the way he imagined it would. He was grateful, tired, and proud of the team, but something inside him stayed quiet. While he was cleaning up after the race, he noticed someone walking toward him. It took him a second to recognize the face, Ruben Cervantes. Years ago, they'd been teammates. Now Ruben looked worn out, stressed, and older than Sonny remembered. He introduced himself with an awkward smile before explaining why he'd come. Ruben doesn't waste time. His team is hanging by a thread. The investors want results. If APXGP cannot win one of the 9 remaining Grands Prix, the team will be sold, burying what is left of Ruben's dream. Sonny laughs it off. He is not that guy anymore. His body aches, his neck stiffens, his vision blurs under the wrong lights. And most of all, Formula One is a world he abandoned long ago, a world that abandoned him first. Ruben leans in and says the one thing Sonny cannot ignore: win and prove he was always the best in the world. A challenge, a dare, a spark. Sonny does not say yes, but he does not say no either. Ruben leaves him with 2 flight tickets, a silent invitation to face the past. Sonny stares at them for a long moment, exhaling through his broken pride. The APXGP garage buzzes with frustration as engineers swarm around the struggling car. Inside the cockpit sits Joshua Pierce, the rookie driver with more ego than experience. Terrified that the failing team he joined will stain his career before it even starts. Terrified that he will never get noticed by the big names. Joshua completes his practice laps, but when Kate McKenna, the brilliant and unshakably strict technical director, asks for feedback, he has nothing useful to say. He does not feel anything in the car, does not know how to explain its problems. His manager pulls him aside and warns him that if APXGP gets sold, his seat is gone. He must shine, now. And at that moment, Sonny Hayes walks into the garage. Every head turns. Confusion, curiosity, concern. Ruben introduces him as the team's potential second driver. Kate raises an eyebrow. Joshua forces a polite nod but hates every bit of what he is seeing. Some old retired guy walking back into the sport he has been grinding to reach. Sonny does not waste time. He wants Joshua's fastest lap and promises to beat it, leaving if he is slower by even a second. The team watches, half expecting him to embarrass himself. Sonny studies the data like a familiar language. He inspects the car, checks the tires, listens to the engine idle. Then he climbs into the cockpit. He then starts the lap and halfway through the car snaps sideways, spinning off track. The crew groans. Joshua smirks. Kate shakes her head. Sonny is not shaken. He restarts instantly, pushing again. The first sectors are slow, too slow. Commentators would have called him washed up, but in the final sector, Sonny becomes someone else entirely. Precise, sharp, calculated chaos. He pushes the car like it was built from his bones, dancing through each corner. He crosses the line, and the garage goes silent, half a second faster than Joshua's best lap. A man who has not driven F1 in 30 years has just outpaced the rookie star. Joshua's jaw tightens. Kate quietly reevaluates him. Ruben cannot hide the smile spreading across his face. As the team tries to process what just happened, Sonny calmly points out mechanical flaws, issues Joshua had never felt or understood. And just like that, APXGP has a spark of hope. Cut to Joshua at home that night, furious, insecure, venting to his mother. He has worked so hard to reach Formula One, and now some old man is stealing his spotlight. Meanwhile, the world explodes with headlines announcing Sonny Hayes' return. From taxi driver to F1 comeback, the ghost of 1993 rising again. Journalists dig into his past: 3 failed marriages, gambling, odd jobs, and a career collapse after the horrifying Barcelona crash that nearly killed him. A prodigy turned ghost story. The press conference arrives. Sonny stands beside Joshua, who throws a mocking jab about giving opportunities to older folks. Reporters chuckle, cameras flash. Sonny does not rise to it, too old to play childish games, but the tension between them is undeniable. Race day approaches. Joshua's mother forces him to apologize, not sincerely, but for image management. He walks over to Sonny with a stiff smile, but Sonny sees right through the act. Just before the race, Ruben introduces Sonny to Peter Banning, a wealthy investor with a sharp tongue and suspiciously charming smile, claiming support for the team. Sonny settles into the car. Doubt creeps in. His hands tremble, his heartbeat echoes in the helmet. 30 years for this moment. The formation lap begins and Sonny does not move. Commentators immediately roast him, questioning if he has forgotten the procedure or is out of touch with modern F1. Then suddenly, he launches. A deception, a trick, a veteran's move. His tires are hotter than everyone else's. He takes his place on the grid like a man reborn. The lights go out. The engines scream. The race begins. Sunny haze flies. The APX GP paddock was unusually silent that night as Kate and the engineers worked through the data. The garage lights hummed above them while Joshua sat apart reviewing his onboard footage for the 100th time. His pride stung almost as much as the burns on his hands. He replayed the Italian Grand Prix moment where he had ignored Sunny's advice, pushed too hard into the wet curb, and turned his chance at glory into a rolling fireball. He had always believed talent was enough. For the first time, he wondered if Sunny had been right. Sunny kept to himself after the crash. The team saw him in the simulator or walking the empty track long after midnight. Kate noticed the change in him. The confident veteran who barked orders and dismissed excuses now looked like a man trying to outrun his own shadow. She invited him to the strategy office under the pretense of reviewing race pace. The meeting turned into hours of quiet conversation. They compared old photographs of their earliest races, laughed at the engines they used to drive, and discovered a shared obsession with the feeling of perfect control, that thin moment where everything in life made sense. The Hungarian points finish had lifted APX GP temporarily, but the pressure only grew heavier. Investors wanted results, journalists wanted drama, and rival teams treated APX GP like an easy target. Sunny sensed the fear behind the smiles in the garage. These mechanics were fighting for their jobs. The engineers were fighting for their reputations. Joshua was fighting for his future, and he himself was fighting the memory of the crash that ended his life once before. Every day felt like walking a thin rope stretched between redemption and repeat disaster. Joshua's return at the Belgian Grand Prix added heat to a fire that was already burning too strongly. He entered the weekend with a new confidence that bordered on arrogance. Reporters asked whether he blamed Sunny for the Italian crash. Joshua dismissed the question with a smirk that spread faster than wildfire across social media. In the team debrief, he interrupted Sunny repeatedly, insisting he knew a better line, a better breaking point, a better everything. Kate tried to calm them both, but the moment the race began, the rivalry turned toxic. Joshua dove into corners with no intention of leaving space. Sunny responded with the precision of someone who had been fighting for every inch his entire life. Eventually, one misjudged move sent both cars spinning into the gravel. Back in the garage, Joshua refused to apologize. Sunny walked past him without a word. Kate decided she had seen enough. That night, she gathered both drivers at a small table in the hospitality tent. The engineers joined reluctantly. She pulled out a deck of cards and suggested they play a simple game that involved betting small coins and answering questions with honesty. Joshua scoffed at the idea at first, but Kate reminded him that a team that cannot trust each other has already lost. Slowly, as the game went on, the tension softened. Joshua revealed stories about growing up in a cramped flat above a convenience store in Manchester, sneaking out at night to watch street racers. Sunny talked about the day he first drove a kart, the moment that convinced him there was nothing else in the world he was supposed to do. Later that night, after the others had left, Sunny and Kate remained behind. They stood close as they reviewed telemetry on her tablet, shoulders brushing once or twice in a way neither attempted to correct. When the night finally ended, they shared a quiet moment of understanding that did not require words. The following morning, the FIA announced that APX GP was under investigation. Someone had anonymously reported Kate's recent upgrades as potentially illegal. The paddock buzzed with speculation. Rival teams smiled politely while sharpening their knives. The investigation led to a painful ruling. APX GP was ordered to remove the modifications immediately. Their fragile progress shattered in an instant, leaving the team scrambling as the season approached its most critical stretch. Joshua cursed the decision. Sunny stared at the garage floor in controlled silence. Kate kept her expression steady, but the tightness in her jaw revealed the truth. She had put everything she had into those upgrades. Losing them felt like losing a piece of herself. The next race was Las Vegas, a nighttime spectacle of neon lights and impossible expectations. Sunny began the weekend distracted. He skipped his personal ritual of drawing a random playing card before every race, a habit he had maintained since 1993 to remind himself that luck and control were always in conflict. Without that ritual grounding him, he entered the track unsettled. The opening laps were chaotic. Cars clipped curbs, sparks danced across the asphalt, and Sunny pushed harder than he should have. On lap 23, he misread a braking point and slammed into the barrier in a violent crash that silenced the entire pit lane. The impact reverberated through the night like a distorted heartbeat. For a moment, all the glittering lights of the Las Vegas Strip seemed to pause. Debris scattered across the straight as Sunny's car ground to a halt in a cloud of smoke and shattered carbon fiber. Inside the garage, Kate pressed her knuckles against her lips, trying to stay composed while the rest of the team waited for the replay. Joshua got nervous as he watched the rescue crew surround Sunny's cockpit. The moment the visor lifted and Sunny raised a shaky thumb, The entire APX GP garage exhaled at once. The medical staff insisted on immediate examination. The crash had been brutal, and though Sonny joked lightly to mask the pain, his vision flickered and blurred at the edges. He felt a strange pressure behind his eyes, one he remembered from years ago but had hoped would never return. When the doctors asked if he felt any dizziness, he brushed the question aside and focused instead on getting cleared for the next race. Ruben Cervantes was waiting for him after the checkup. He looked as if he had aged a decade in a single night. He led Sonny into his motorhome where the blinds were shut and the atmosphere was cold. Ruben laid out the medical reports that Sonny had spent years hiding. The lingering damage from the 1993 crash had never healed properly. High G-forces put him at risk of permanent blindness or worse. Ruben spoke softly, but his decision was absolute. For Sonny's own safety, he was being removed from the car. Sonny listened without arguing. The words cut deep, but the logic was impossible to deny. What shook him most was not the dismissal itself, but the realization that Ruben had known for some time and had been struggling with the choice. Sonny left the motorhome quietly, carrying a heaviness that made the bustling paddock feel distant and unreal. Later that night, as he walked along the dim corridor behind the garages, he was intercepted by Peter Banning. The board member greeted him with a calmness that felt unnatural in the circumstances. Peter spoke with the air of a man who had been waiting for the perfect moment. He revealed that he had orchestrated Sonny's signing from the very beginning, not as a rescue for the team, but as a slow-burning fuse. A famous name, a risky bet, a convenient scapegoat. He admitted he had also submitted the anonymous complaint against Kate. His plan was simple. APX GP needed to fail so the investors would sell the team at a fraction of its value. Peter would then step in and acquire it himself. He ended the conversation by offering Sonny a significant payout in exchange for quietly accepting the end of the season. Sonny stared at him with a calm that masked the rage building inside of him. He simply walked away, leaving Peter standing in the hallway with his unshaken smugness. For the first time since his return to F1, Sonny questioned whether racing was still worth the pain. He did not have an answer. On the other side of the paddock, Joshua was studying race data alone in the dim glow of his laptop. For weeks he had pushed back against that mentorship, convinced he was being held down. Now, watching Sonny's lines through the corners, he realized that the old man had been trying to elevate him, not restrain him. Joshua closed the laptop gently, feeling the weight of guilt settle across his shoulders. The team's morale hit its lowest point. Mechanics whispered about the investigation. Engineers feared losing their jobs. Kate spent long hours trying to find legal loopholes to restore her upgrades. Ruben called meetings that felt like attempts to hold together a ship already taking water. Without Sonny in the car, everything felt off balance. 3 days before the next Grand Prix, Kate found Sonny sitting alone by the pit wall. She told him that the FIA had cleared her upgrades and restored them fully. She expected him to smile or at least appear relieved. Instead, he looked tired. He confessed that his vision had been fading on and off since Las Vegas. He described the flickers, the pressure, the shadows that moved when nothing was there. Kate listened with a heavy heart. She had worked with drivers long enough to know that some problems cannot be engineered away. She begged him to consider whether returning to the car was worth the cost. Sonny did not answer her directly. Instead, he walked into the garage, gathered the team, and asked them a simple question. Would they follow him if he returned to the car? The response was immediate. Every mechanic, every engineer, every strategist nodded without hesitation. Joshua stepped forward and admitted that the earlier crash was his fault, that his ego had blinded him. He promised to drive for the team from now on, not for personal glory. Ruben watched the interaction quietly. After a moment of silence, he gave Sonny the permission he had been fighting against. He warned him privately that this chance might end his career permanently, but Sonny only smiled. He replied that some victories are worth the risk. When race weekend finally arrived, the paddock buzzed with disbelief. Sonny Hayes was back. APX GP stood tall again. Kate's restored upgrades gleamed under the floodlights as the team readied both cars. Joshua completed his practice sessions with a newfound discipline. Sonny returned to the cockpit with the familiar mix of adrenaline and quiet resolve. The season finale awaited in Abu Dhabi, and for APX GP, everything hinged on what happened next. Abu Dhabi welcomed the team with blazing heat and relentless sun. The paddock buzzed with energy, cameras capturing every moment. For Sonny, every sound of the engines felt familiar yet sharper, more urgent. He climbed into the cockpit, checked the tires, felt the vibration of the car against his palms, and for a fleeting moment he felt the old adrenaline surge, the sensation that had driven him since his first kart. Joshua was beside him in the next garage bay, focused and silent. There was no rivalry now, only respect and shared purpose. The formation lap began. Sonny felt the vibrations run through his neck and shoulders. He ignored the flickers in his vision and the pressure at the back of his skull. Every muscle in his body remembered the rhythm of a Formula One car, the delicate balance of throttle and brake. He adjusted his helmet, tapped the steering wheel lightly, and breathed. 30 years of waiting led to this. The lights went out, and the cars roared forward. Sonny settled into position, holding back the leaders with calculated precision. He needed to manipulate the race so Joshua could gain ground, but he had to do it without risking his own fragile body. Every corner, every straight, became a test of nerves and instinct. The Ferraris, Mercedes, and Red Bulls closed in, but Sonny's control was masterful. He used every trick he had learned over decades: subtle braking, timing tire heat, and positioning his car to impede the faster competitors without contact. Joshua pushed forward behind him, following Sonny's rhythm. He recalled the lessons from the card games, the telemetry sessions, the late-night conversations with Kate, and the safety-first strategies Sonny had drilled into him. Halfway through the race, an incident occurred. Sonny misjudged a braking point at turn 7 and clipped the barrier lightly. Sparks flew, metal screamed, and the crowd gasped. The car was still functional, but the small impact triggered a chain reaction. Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton collided while trying to avoid Sonny's car, forcing the race director to deploy a red flag. The entire track stopped. APXGP leapt into action, repairing both cars, changing tires, and preparing for the final sprint. Sonny watched the repairs, checking the torque and alignment, ensuring Joshua's car would be perfect. When the race restarted, Sonny and Joshua were in positions 3 and 4. The leaders surged ahead, but Sonny used his experience to manipulate the pace, holding Hamilton back without creating a crash. Joshua followed his line perfectly, overtaking Leclerc with precision. The duo moved as a unit, synchronized in a dance only decades of racing wisdom could produce. The spectators barely noticed Sonny's sacrifice, but Joshua's tires warmed just right to attack the leaders. On the final lap, everything came to a head. Hamilton challenged Sonny and Joshua aggressively, forcing high-risk maneuvers. Joshua and Hamilton collided in the final corner. Time seemed to stretch. The cars spun, but Sonny kept his focus, accelerating perfectly to cross the finish line first. The roar of the crowd was deafening. Sonny Hayes had finally won his first Formula One race after 30 years. Back in the garage, the team erupted. Ruben hugged Sonny tightly, barely able to contain tears of relief and pride. Kate smiled, exhausted but triumphant, her eyes glistening as she saw her vision realized. Joshua, still panting from the final sprint, approached Sonny with genuine respect. They exchanged a nod, understanding that what had started as rivalry had evolved into mutual admiration. Sonny did not claim the trophy. He walked past it, acknowledging the team's effort and leaving his personal glory aside. In the following days, Joshua was offered a seat with Mercedes, one of the most coveted opportunities in Formula One. Yet he declined. The APXGP team remained intact, stronger than ever, with renewed investors and a clear path to the next season. Sonny prepared to leave quietly, promising Kate he would see her again. Sometime later, Sonny arrived at the Baja 1000, the desert stretching endlessly before him. Mechanics and spectators asked what he was racing for now. He did not need fame or money. He raced for the feeling of being alive, for the moments when every second stretched and every choice mattered. He laughed as he lined up at the start, knowing that even after Formula One, the chase for that untouchable speed would never truly end.